I'm starting with this planter that you can find at the Dollar Tree. It's just a plastic planter, but we're going to make it look so pretty. I'm going to give it 2 coats of the color Conservatory by Fusion, and this is a mineral paint. And I got this in my Rehatched Designs monthly subscription box. This is just such a beautiful green. And if you want one similar, Waverly has the color Moss and Celery. I think this is more of a celery than it is moss. Anyhow, they are quite similar. What I love about this paint, it has both a primer and a sealer in it. And so you can go right in with your transfers or whatever and not do an extra step. So as you can see, I was brushing it on, then I went back and stippled over just to give it a little added texture. And I don't like brush strokes. Who does though? This is the Wild Blowman transfer book. This also came in my box. I might as well put it out there. Most of these are from both my Rehatched Designs box and my Sonnets Makers box. I'll just let you know in between what's what. And I'm going to go in with just a bunch of transfers. I don't need to explain a lot of it to you because most of you by now know how to use transfers. They're rather easy. You just place them down where you want them, take your transfer stick and begin rubbing and pull back on that vellum sheet as you go, and just make sure that you burnish your design down once you have it on there. This transfer book is so fun to work with. It has a bunch of florals and butterflies, frogs, dragonflies, and a lot of them are small, so they can be curated for any design, small or large. I wanted this planter to look like an old pottery piece with age and character and that time-worn charm, and I really feel like I pulled that off. This is one of those pieces I'm so proud of and completely fell in love with. I just have a feeling a lot of you are going to love it too, especially if vintage is right up your alley. You'll have to let me know if you've ever crafted with one of these planters before. There are so many fun things you could do with them. Stencils would look beautiful, inlays would be gorgeous, and decoupage tissue paper would work so well too. Honestly, I wish I had grabbed another one because I already want to make a second design. These are just so fun. If this is your first time watching, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Nikki and I love making all kinds of DIYs, but my heart is really with that vintage style. I love thrifted finds, making things look old, time-worn finishes, French and regal touches, shabby chic, cottage core, all that good stuff. But really, I do a little bit of everything here. I also host a monthly collaboration that starts this month and will be on the last Monday of every month. It's called Budget to Beautiful. The whole idea is taking dollar store items, inexpensive finds, or things you already have in your stash and turning them into something beautiful. And I host this each month with my friend Yetta from Craft Along with Jay. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, feel free to reach out to either one of us on Instagram. We would love to have you join. Now that I have all my transfers on, I'm sealing them in with some Extreme Guard in satin. It has a nice soft sheen to it. I'm going to do just one coat and I'm going to let that dry really well. Now to age it up, I'm going to put a coat of Pentart's Fine Line Crackle Step 1. I'm going to go over the entire design in a crosshatch motion, and I'm going to be careful not to repeatedly go over. I'm just going to lay it down and leave it alone and keep working my way around the planter. And this is going to dry in about 30 minutes. You can let it air dry. You can take a hair dryer or an embossing gun and speed up the process. If you do that, just make sure you keep your heat moving. You don't want to keep it in one spot for too long. Now that it has a tacky finish, I'm going to go in with crackle step 2. And again, I'm going to apply it in a crosshatch motion. I don't want brush marks, and I also don't want to keep going over the same spot. Again, just lay it down and keep working. I use several different products when I want to create crackle. I have one by Paint Couture, one from Folk Art, and sometimes I even use the old-fashioned school glue method with regular school glue. But what I love about this one is the finish that it gives. It leaves that beautiful ceramic pottery-like crackle look that I'm just so drawn to. Once it's nice and dry, I have both my dark oil wax by Sweet Pickins and my vintage distress paste. And I'm going to go back and forth between these to get that vintage look that I like. And also, the vintage paste gets right into those crackles beautifully. And so, this is a step that I really take my time on, a lot of blending, going back and forth, applying some, wiping some back. It's a process, but if you want it to look old, you got to build up that shading in the areas where you'd naturally have age. And this is how my planter came out. Look at all that beautiful crackle and the aging around the rim and along the bottom. I'm so happy with it. What do you think? For our second project, I picked up this little shelf piece from Target for $5. It's kind of like a small wall shelf or a cubby shelf, and I'm going to cover the whole thing with Sweet Pickins Extra Bond. This is what's called the Connie method. You brush on the Extra Bond first, which works like a glue additive for milk paint, let it dry completely, and then after it, you go in with however many coats you need of milk paint. In this case, I ended up doing 3 coats, and the color is called Sweetwater. It came in my Sonnets Makers box this month, and it's such a pretty soft light green. Once everything was nice and dry, I went in with this paper that came in my box. It's from Roy Cycled, along with this other medium that's by Pentart. It's Decoupage Varnish and Glue Matte. And I'm using my fan brush to spread it all around. And as I'm working the paper down, I'm also adding a little water to help that decoupage um, smooth everything out and work out those wrinkles. So I'm applying it on the bottom and on the top. Now for the top, I'm using this beautiful napkin that came in my box, and I'm going to decoupage that right onto the top shelf. Everything in these boxes is so well curated. Look at how beautifully it all works together. The paint color, that soft light pink, and the roses blend in with that paper so nicely. And for this one, I'm using my liquid patina. The reason I chose that is because it isn't as thick. And since a napkin is so delicate, I wanted something that would be a little easier to smooth out and give me less chance of tearing or ripping my napkin. Now to age it up and seal in my milk paint, I'm taking clear wax and my vintage distressing paste that I used earlier, and I'm going to go over the whole piece, repeating the same steps I used on the planter to build up the age look. I like to go in with clear wax first, especially when I'm working with milk paint, because it makes it so much easier to pull back the antiquing paste afterward. Having that surface prepped first just helps control where the color settles, and it keeps it from sinking too deep into all those cracks where it can be a little hard to remove. So that's just how I prefer to do it. Just do whatever works for you and whatever look that you're going for. Now, one of the reasons we seal milk paint is because it can be reactivated as soon as water hits it. If you would like to add a little more distressing before going in with your oil-based products, that's the perfect time to take a damp cloth and do some wet distressing. And that's just by taking a wet cloth and rubbing it over the areas that you want more distressing. Then just let it dry and move on to your oil. And I love this. I think it's so cute. And I styled mine with a few small pieces. And I have to say, I'm really happy with how this turned out. What do you think of this? I got two of these canvas surfaces in my rehatched box, and I'm taking that same decoupage varnish and glue that also came in that same box. I'm going to give my canvas a heavy coat as it's very porous and it just loves to soak that glue right up. I'm going to give it a good heavy coat, making sure I get the sides very well. And this is one of the rice papers I got. I love this paper. It's so beautiful and so easy to smooth out. That's one of the things I love so much about rice paper is you really don't have to do much with it. The bubbles and the wrinkles just smooth right out. I just burnish it with the warmth of my hands, and then I'm going to seal it in with that same varnish. I already have my other canvas prepped and ready to go for this second one that came in my box. I'm not sure which one I like better. They're both so beautiful. I'm going to repeat the same exact steps. And this is one of those projects, don't blink. This is merely for inspiration and just to share with you the beautiful designs. And this is how they came out. I think they're absolutely beautiful. What do you think of these prints? If you're interested in the Maker's Box, be sure to check out Sonnet's Garden Blooms Maker's Box and also Rehatch Designs. Both of them have beautiful subscriptions, and if I didn't say, these images here are from Rehatch Designs. This project here, the shelf, is all from Sonnet's, and the planter is also from Rehatch Designs. So tell me what you think of these projects today. Would you recreate them? Do you think I accomplished my vintage look that I was going for? And as always, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. And if you really like this, go ahead and give me that like. And if you loved it, hype me up. I would so appreciate it. And turn on those notifications if you don't want to miss another video from me. Thank you for spending time with me. Until the next one, bye.